SADONASO has to be one of the most controversial fragrance releases in the last few years for sure, maybe in the last decade even. Master perfumer Alessandro Gualtieri strikes again, but this time with pure filth and sexual violence. First off, all I gotta say is the marketing on this thing is probably the most unique that I've ever seen on any fragrance release. I mean, the name SADONASO is like a play on a sadomasochist, and the brand name Nasomatto just kind of missed. SADONASO. And let's talk about the ads from this. I mean, the campaign they ran, did you see it? Did you see the ad video, the promo video they cut? I mean, it's just pure BDSM, to the max. I mean, that's what they're trying to aim with this fragrance. I mean, and I think they hit it on the head, honestly. And what's the deal with all that? I don't know. I mean, apparently Alessandro is into some super kinky shit, but that's not the craziest thing about this fragrance. It wasn't the promos he released, and it's not the name. It's the limited edition bottle, and unfortunately, I don't have it. This is not it. And what was that bottle, you may ask? Well, it was a phallic bottle. I'm gonna say phallic. Do you know what that means? Well, the cap was a phallus. Is that right? A phallus? It was phallic. I'm gonna say that so, the channel doesn't get flagged or banned.
It was a dick.
I've read countless reviews of this fragrance, and some people say it's super challenging. Some people say it's absolutely disgusting and grotesque. I wanna see if it really smells like that. I mean, I can't see it being that bad because Alessandro Gualtieri usually makes some bangers with his brands Nasomatto and Paraiso Ortiz. So I'm kind of curious if this one is gonna smell just repulsive. I mean, is it gonna smell like body parts, like sweat? Is it gonna smell like toys, if you know what I'm saying? I don't know. All right, enough talking, onto the spray. Let's see what this bad boy smells like. Oh, did you see that atomizer? It was crazy. Here we go. Hooey. Okay, right up top with this, I get hit with heavy musk. And I'm not gonna lie, the initial opening of this fragrance, it just smells a little bit pissy, and not overbearing, but just a little bit, almost like very similar. Some people compare it to like a bathroom, like a public restroom vibe. It's kind of there. It's kind of like a pissy diaper smell, but in a good way, if it can be in a good way, mixed with heavy vanilla, almost like a vanilla cake. So you get like a pissy musk, animalic, very animalic, mixed with like this vanilla cake. Now here's the thing. If you think about this, the muskiness and the vanilla-ness almost comes together, and it smells very similar to like a latex smell. It almost smells like condoms. I mean, I'm not gonna lie here, that's what this smells like. Not that I know what that smells like, but that's what this smells like. It gives off like this rubbery, plastic, latex vibe. I can see it, that's what the opening is like. There also is a little bit of a faint honey note that's kind of lingering in the open. So once again, up top, you get like this musky, pissy note of vanilla cake. The vanilla is very strong, and you get a little bit this honey that comes through, and it's a little bit powdery, and it smells like condoms or maybe sex toys. I mean, I don't know what that smells like. That's what I'm guessing it would smell. If I could imagine, if I could use this old imagination here, that's what I would think this would smell like. The opening is a bit challenging, but it's definitely not overboard. I mean, it definitely hasn't lost me yet. Let's do one more right in the mic. We'll get it right up here. Little uppy-downy spray. Let's get it. Waft the musky, pissy smell right at me. There we go. I mean, honestly, it's nice. It's nice. Now, here's the thing about this fragrance. The dry down is where this fragrance really starts to shine. I have been wearing this all week, so I'm familiar with the dry down. Hold on. I feel like I just breathed in a bunch of piss. Ugh. It's a beast. We'll get to that later. As this fragrance starts to dry down, it gets honestly really good. So the musk in here is the whole experience of this fragrance. You're gonna smell the musk, but it really tames down. It starts to dissipate and take a back seat. And what are the major players in this during the dry down? What happens is the vanilla just comes out in the honey note. The honey in this fragrance absolutely is the star of this fragrance. If I had to classify this is a dirty honey gourmand fragrance. That's what it is, a dirty honey gourmand. So the dry down is heavy vanilla cake. You get a heavy honey note, a very earthy, dirty honey, and it's mixed with, I get a little bit of tobacco in this fragrance, and there's this very subtle coffee smell. I didn't get it the first few times of wearing it, but today I picked it up. It was like coffee wafts. I don't know how to say it. Yeah, I definitely get the coffee in this, and I get the heavy honey in this. Now, if you don't know this, but Alessandro doesn't like to list the notes, so I'm not exactly sure what's in this fragrance, but there's definitely musk. There is definitely some sort of coffee simulation going on, definitely heavy vanilla. There's, you know, mild spices, maybe like a cinnamon, and there's something just creating a very nice honey note. I don't know how you make a honey note. I don't know what aroma molecules or raw materials you use to make that, but it's definitely in this fragrance. And then at the very end of it, it turns into a very nice, sweet, dirty, like amber. It's very nice. I really like this a lot, actually. The opening is very challenging, not overboard, but it's challenging to the novice nose. If you're used to designer fragrances, this is gonna shock you. It really will. But it's good, so don't let that detour you in checking this out. You know what? Let's go overboard. We're gonna go overboard with this, and I'll do a under loopy downer. So once again, up top, as soon as you spray it, you get hit with this intense, musky, almost pissy note, mixed with heavy vanilla and a little bit of honey that gives that latex sex toy vibe. And then as it starts to dry down, the musk takes the back seat. The honey note really amplifies with the vanilla. You get mild coffee. I mean, honestly, this fragrance smells like a session of filth and debauchery. And as with most of the Nasomatto fragrances, I mean, I think this is absolutely beast mode as far as the projection and the longevity. I mean, you're gonna get 6-8+ hours. You know, honestly, 3 sprays of this max is all you need. 1 spray for light, 2 to 3 is like intense. I mean, if you spray this more than this, you're gonna like clear some shit out, honestly. I would say, honestly, this would do better in the cooler months, but maybe summer nights is something you would wear this. But I mean, you could wear it year round, but I just feel like it's a little bit sweet and could be cloying in the summer and the hot heat. So I would probably wear this in like winter, spring. I think this is a spring fragrance, like spring and fall, summer nights maybe. It's definitely really good though. So overall, SADONASO to me is a very, very unique, like gourmand honey fragrance. I mean, that's what it is. It is very unisex, but you know, there's something about this fragrance that I just think it leans feminine, and I don't know what that is. I just picture like a very seductive woman wearing this. You know, I mean, honestly, like check this out. If you were about to get, picture this. If you were about to get like hot and heavy with a woman and she had this on, I think it would just be like game over. It would be end game. There's something about this that just like put any dude in a trance in that moment smelling this. It does have this like, the dirty honey has like this like filthy, captivating siren-like quality. And I think that this would honestly slay on date nights if a woman wore it. Now, if a man wore this, I don't know if it has the same captivating appeal. I'm just not sure. It has like a completely different vibe on a man because it's unisex, but it leans feminine. But I don't feel like if a man wore this, it would be like masculine and attractive to a woman. I'm not sure on that. I'll have to do some tests. I'll get back with you, maybe in some shorts. It's just a very surprising fragrance, honestly. It's a little bit different than I was expecting. I was expecting it to be more challenging. It's filthy sweet and just like visceral. It's a very good release from Nasomatto. And you know what? I think the marketing, including the phallus bottle of this, I think it was like really good. I really do. You know, that might not be your jam, that whole vibe. You might be offended, you know, but you know, let's talk. Alessandro's an artist here. You know, he's mixing art, which in fragrance is an art in its own, and art and imagery with a vibe, and this captivates that vibe very well. I think the marketing was definitely successful on this. I think the name is great on this. The coloring's great. The bottle was great. The limited edition bottle is really good. And this definitely could like conjure images of like sin and pain. I mean, for real, not that I'm into either of those things. Even though, you know, my professional job, I do dish out some pain, but we're not gonna talk about that. As far as comparing this to other fragrances, I mean, to put this in perspective, I could see this would easily be part of like the Zoologist line. If you're not familiar with Zoologist, I did do a couple videos of those. I'll post that up here if you wanna check it out, but I think this would fit perfectly in the Zoologist line. I mean, you could call this something like Honey Badger. Yeah, Honey Badger. This would be Honey Badger if it was in Zoologist. And honestly, so the dry down of this, the closest fragrance that I've experienced that I can compare this to is probably Bee by Zoologist. So if you've smelled Bee, if you love Bee, you'll probably like this a lot, I'm not gonna lie. And honestly, I wasn't a huge fan of Bee. There was something very like intense that smelled like you were stuck your head in a beehive. I actually prefer SADONASO more than Bee. I really do. Even though that first blast in the opening is a little bit pissy, it does fade off pretty quick. I'm talking like, you know, 3 minutes and it takes the back seat. And that vanilla and that dirty honey comes through, mixed with a little bit of the tobacco. It's a little bit powdery. You get a coffee smell. You know, sometimes you almost get like a chocolate vibe to it. I think that alone just passes B a little bit, and the projection and the longevity is just as up there too with anything from the zoologist line. This is very, very good. You know, I'm a huge fan, if you're not, you know, I already said this before in other videos, of Alessandro Gualtieri's work. I really like both of his brands. Now, this isn't my favorite in the Nasomatto lineup. I wouldn't say that. My favorite is probably Beronda, which I also did a video there, because I do like boozy fragrances, and that's a great whiskey fragrance, but I mean, this definitely fits in his lineup. You know, if his lineup was missing a BDSM, you know, bondage, whip you around, smack your face around, you know, let's bang it out type fragrance, I mean, this is the one you want to wear. This conjures up that imagery. And that dude must really be into some shit. I'm not gonna lie, like, he just must. I feel like everything he makes, you know, he was probably, you know, I don't know, slapping around the monkey making this thing. Who knows, you know? I hope he wasn't. That'd be kind of weird, honestly. Would it though? I don't know. He's an artist. For creativity and for what this is, I mean, this is a 10 out of 10. Really it is. 10 out of 10. How do you get better than this? How do you do what this set out to do better? I don't feel like you can do that. Now for the smell of this, personally for me, I have to give this, it might sound harsh because I did, you know, amp this up, but maybe like a 7.5 to 8. Personally for me, this is just a little bit cloying. It's a little bit like too sweet. I'm not super into the heavy ambers like this. Like I said, it reminds me of B, and B wasn't my favorite from Zoologist. I'm more of like a boozy, I like boozy, I like aromatic frugiers. This is definitely sweet and cloying. If you're into like honey fragrances, check this out. If you like musk fragrances at all, you'll probably love this because, you know, it's very niche and unique. But if you're looking for like a unique gourmand, if you're looking for a vibe, something that you wear, you know, sometimes, if you're looking to be like, you know, a filthy son of a bitch, then check this out. You know, if you want to make a statement on date night or, you know, going to a rave or a club or a city club in Detroit, I've never been there, then you got to check this one out. Definitely get a sample. Do not blind buy this. Man, I really wish I had the limited edition bottle. I really do. I mean, it's honestly kind of cool. I think it's cool. I don't know. It is, you know, is it weird? Who knows? And like I said, I think this would work way better on a woman than a male. I don't know. I'd like to smell this on a woman, you know, just not one that's gonna slap me around and tie me up or whip me. A classy gal, if you will. You know, a churchgoer, you know, give her a bottle of this for Christmas. She'll love it. It's hot in here. Oh, all I smell is piss now. Oh, geez.